Barnstable police are taking action to clean up homeless camps in town. How Barnstable Public Schools runs Destination Imagination could be changing this year. And Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Mary Schakowsky, sets the stage for the upcoming school year. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, August 19th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mantle. 15 homeless camps will be demolished sometime next week. The effort will be coordinated by the Barnstable Police Department. Police Chief Paul McDonald says the department will be notifying all homeless individuals living in the camps of the cleanup.
And what we're doing, we're undertaking a cleanup probably sometime next week, but the officers are already out in the woods identifying where the camps are, taking pictures of the camps, seeing what the extent of the problem actually is. And we're prioritizing all of the camps, particularly the ones that are around the schools. As school begins to open, we don't want the kids to be interrupted by these camps, and some of the camps are actually on school property. So for now, we are concentrating on the camps, all the camps that are south of South Street and west of Old Colony Boulevard, and there are several camps in the area. And what the officers do first is they actually go out in the woods, identify the camps, take a picture of them, and then try to identify everyone who is living in the camps, because we want to give them ample opportunity to get back there and take whatever belongings they want. We don't want to deprive them of anything, but the camps cannot stay there. When we use the word camps, and it's a very loosely used term, it's really basically the individuals that are living in squalor. These are the hardcore homeless individuals, the chronic homeless individuals that really can't get into the shelter because they either have alcohol or substance abuse or mental health issues.
McDonald says the camps are not safe for those living in them or neighboring communities, and that we need to find a much better solution.
We have to find a much better solution than these camps. During the first 4 months of this year, we had four individuals die in the camps. Most of them died from exposure. And we keep using these word camps. They're nothing more than occasionally they have a lean-to or a pup camp or a pup tent or something very, very similar, and they just can't stand up to the elements that are out there. And plus it's extremely dangerous for these individuals to be out in these wooded areas by themselves. And because of the stepped-up enforcement that we put out there, and what we're trying to do with the social service agency, some of these individuals are actually moving deeper and deeper into the woods, making it more difficult for us to locate them.
McDonald says the homeless camps will be dismantled next Thursday.
We've identified up to 15 campsites just in this general area, a relatively small area. We know there are much larger camps down off Yarmouth Road, Old Yarmouth Road, down into the watershed area, down off Mary Dunn, almost onto the airport property. We know there are camps down there. We have 1 or 2 camps we've identified up along Addicts Lane down by Hathaway's Pond. So we do really have a significant problem. When you look at it, we probably have in the area, nobody can give you an exact count, neither can I, but I would estimate there's probably 300 to 350 homeless individuals, the population, just in the Hyannis area. And of course, the shelter, there are only 50 beds in the shelter. That means everybody else has to stay somewhere else.
McDonald says the cleanup will be a coordinated effort with the Barnstable Police Department, the Barnstable Sheriff's Department, and the Barnstable Department of Public Works.
We've already contacted the Sheriff's Department. We have them come in for a day. They will give us a work crew of prisoners, which means they will give us 6 prisoners that will come out in the camps, work with us. They do a lion's share of the load, picking everything up. DPW will provide us with a dump truck, a bobcat, and a laborer. They will give us, hopefully they'll give us three individuals. And we have them for 1 day, and we will try and knock down as many camps as we possibly can. We've already identified them. The homeless people, the individuals who stay in the camps, they're out there now. We know we've seen them taking stuff out of the camps, so they know we're coming. They're starting to clean them up a little bit themselves, but when we're done, there'll be nothing left.
McDonald says the department will invite local social service workers to be present during the cleanup and urges anyone with knowledge of a camp to notify Barnstable Police. Destination Imagination could soon be a fee-based activity in Barnstable Public Schools. Karen Murphy, Gateway Director, went before the school committee to explain why she thinks it's necessary and how it would work.
A couple of benefits of that would be to hopefully expand the program, to broaden the participation, and also to reduce the fundraising burden that really lies on a smaller number of people. what I did is I broke down using numbers from last year. So we had 104 students on 15 teams. The cost for each team that Gateway pays for is $208 or $30 per student. And if a team goes to states, that costs $233. So the total that we paid this year was $3,120. And that comes out of, as I said before, my local, the Gateway budget. And on average, if a team is invited to the global competition, it costs about $1,200 per student, per coach to attend. Okay? So what I did was, when I came in June, trying to align the fee with sort of what was done in Barnstable, and as far as I could tell, there are no club fees at Barnstable, so it was $125 for the athletic fee. So I just took a few different fees, $125, $75, and $50, and I broke it down using those numbers just to get a sense of what the fee would look like. So I'm not going to read all the numbers, but what you can see is that the registration fee, which was this year around $3,000, that would come directly out of the money raised through fees. In general, there's also, say, $25 supply fee given to each team, so roughly that's $400. There would be scholarship money available for each student that needs that, so that money would come out of the fees as well. The remaining money would be used to help support the teams going forward to global. And another possibility for that remaining money would be to provide training to teams. So, for example, we have new coaches that show up and they've never coached before. We can get some mentor coaches and provide some instant challenge training. So there would be more, that would be what the money would come from.
After much discussion, the school committee opted to wait until Murphy has a formal recommendation with a specific fee proposal, and that will happen during the next meeting, September 9th. Superintendent of Schools Dr. Mary Schakowsky presented her goals for the upcoming school year during last night's meeting.
Certainly, when I look at my time this year as a superintendent and where I need to devote my priorities, I want to begin with really it's a goal of improving the teaching and learning environment for our integrated pre-K programs for all students and teachers through the construction of a new early learning center with an occupancy date of February of 2015. And when Dave talks today about the facilities update, he's going to go through the timeline of the pre-bid meeting and the posting of the bids, and he'll go through the timeline of that. But that's well in its way with the support of the town council as well as the support of the school committee to construct 6 additional classrooms. And for the first time, Barnstable Public Schools will have a state-of-the-art new facility for our most at risk at times in coming in as 3- and 4-year-olds to the district, an age-appropriate learning environment for teachers as well as for students. Classrooms will have bathrooms in them, and I think sometimes you think, well, what's the big deal to have bathrooms in a classroom? But when you're talking about marching 12, 15, 3- and 4-year-olds down the hall to go to the bathroom, it can take a long time. So having, and developing some structure and some routines within the classroom really is going to improve the amount of instructional time teachers will have with them. So that's an area that I will closely monitor this year. The second is the recruitment and retention of 12 new administrators in Barnstable effective July 2014. And, as we recruit administrators, we also want to retain them in the district, and I've set a target of 75% or greater within 3 years.
And the school committee will vote on Dr. Schakowsky's goals during its next meeting, September 9th. Well, be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will chat with Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce CEO Wendy Northcross, Finance Director Mark Milne, and we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.